Hello. How's everyone doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, we have Meet the Biz today. Meet the Biz.
Hello, David.
D-I-Z. Hey.
Hey guys, how are you, David?
Hello.
Hey, David.
Hey. So, everyone, welcome to Meet the Biz. Hi, how's everyone doing? Good. Well, today's a very special day, you know, and this woman is one of the reasons that I am still loving this industry. And just real, down to earth, a heart. You know, I mentioned a lot of times that the guests that come on here have this beautiful heart, but I tell you, this woman personifies that. She has worked on so many sets of TV shows and films that you all know and love. She was nominated for an Emmy for hairstyling for Deadwood, the movie. She won the Hollywood Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Award for Best Period Piece and Character for hairstyling. She's been in the business for 27 years. She's worked, I'm going to just list just a few names. Holly Hunter, Jim Carrey, Jerry Jewell, Robert Redford. She's been on shows, worked on shows like Reno 911. I could keep on going with this. A walk in the wood. You know, I'm gonna just it's Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. So I'm gonna just let this woman in. And here she is, Laine Trzinski.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! You make me cry. Your words are so kind. Thank you so much. That was really nice. Yes, thank you.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, you know, I met Lainey on the set of Deadwood, the movie. And, you know, when somebody walks in the room and the door opens and there's just this energy, that's what you had. You have this loving, like, oh, I know you, I want you. I mean, I want your presence in my life. And so thank you. Thank you. What is it about? Have you always been this way of just making people feel wonderful around you?
That's a funny question.
I know.
There is a proverb that I live my life by, and it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's because, you know, treat people like you want to be treated. I want people to treat me nicely, so I'm going to treat anybody, even that I make eye contact with. I will give a smile or something, because you just don't know what everybody's day is entailing, you know, and the world is hard right now. And we need to lift each other up, and it's all we have on this planet are each other, you know, and that we have to take care of each other. So yeah, I love humans, and I'm mad at them all at the same time.
Yes. And I could add to that about you want to kiss them and shake them at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
But grateful for people like yourself too, because I felt the same walking in the room, you and Jerry, like to meet somebody like Jerry Jewell that has had the adversities in her life like she has had, but always has a smile, always has some loving, kind words to give you. And it's just, you know, but there for the grace of God go I, you know?
Well, and it's wonderful. I mean, that set of Deadwood, I mean, you know, not all sets are that amazing where people seem to, it really seems like people were a true family. I mean, they've been working together for so long.
Yeah, they had worked together for that 12 years before for those 4 years or 5 years. And then to come back 12 years later, I think the actors had such a bond with each other, and that so much of the crew was from the show originally and also fans of the show. I think that's what made it so magical, because the writing on that show and the acting on that show is so good and so from the heart, you can't help but not fall in love with these characters, even though they're not the most lovable characters.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we find the good and bad in each entity, so to say. What was I gonna? Oh, how did you? I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, you've done so much work. How did you get that job on Deadwood? Was it word of mouth?
My friend Melissa got the job, and her and I work really well together. And I met Melissa. I started out in Chicago. That's where I was born and raised.
Yes.
And just a little peon nobody working on anything I could. And then a movie came to Chicago, and it was called Never Been Kissed. And Never Been Kissed is the Drew Barrymore movie, which is a really sweet, wonderful, heartfelt movie. If you haven't seen it, watch Never Been Kissed. It's about an older woman who goes back to high school and pretends she's a teenager, and goes back to relive those times in high school. And she's a newspaper writer, so she's writing an article about it. But I met Melissa there, and if it wasn't for Melissa, my life, I wouldn't have I give her a lot of credit for my career. She's found me the jobs and put me in the places and put me in front of people. And yeah, Melissa was the big cheese. She was the boss on Deadwood, and she made me her co-captain. We were head bosses together, and my respect and my love for Melissa Yonke is huge because of that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It shows how the people you meet throughout your life, when you connect with them, you keep doing, you know, you create more work together, like you did with Mr. Redford. I mean, you worked with Robert Redford for several times.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I have a makeup man friend named Corey, and him and I also work together really, really well. And he got asked to do this film down in Mexico called All Is Lost. And the movie is based on a true story. The director's father was lost at sea on a boat by himself, sailing for something like 40 days. And this movie is a somewhat recreation of that. So in the film, it's basically one person. It's basically Mr. Redford and a stunt double, almost the whole movie. The movie has no dialogue. Mr. Redford says a few words in the movie. A little bit of it is over, what do they call that, voiceover?
Right.
But he barely speaks in it. So to watch a human being act and get so much across with just his face was a beautiful thing. And I didn't know if he liked me. He was a very quiet guy. He would read his paper, you know, not much going on. I would play the music, do his hair and whatever. And at the end of the movie, he's like, hey, give me your phone number. And I'm like, okay. And then the next movie comes along and he asked me to do it. And the same thing that you said, it was kind of like, I'm just being myself. I'm just doing what I can, doing the best job that I am capable of doing, without trying to be like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And people notice it. The right people will notice that and want you in their lives.
Well, when you were describing that a bit, it sounded like, you know, a really good Reiki master or massage therapist, because you come into a room, you connect with the person, and you go to whatever level that it is. It's not just being on all the time. You, like you said, you walk in as you.
And you meet people at their level. That's a very good explanation. That's a very good point right there. Because some people are up here and some are down here. And I just want to find out who you are and be able to communicate with you, you know, and other people do it with me too.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now, here's, you mentioned you grew up in Chicago?
I did. And I will say the reason I got into doing hairstyling is I struggled in school so much. It was so hard for me just to get a C where all of my friends were skipping class and getting A's. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Come to find out, dyslexia is real, and trying to even just write out a report was really difficult in times. So I thought, okay, I'm going to work with my hands. So I didn't go to college. I went to beauty school while I was in high school because there was a program. My father paints sets. I've grown up with a human being, my dad in the business. He builds the sets. He builds, the facades, and he builds the fake bars, and he builds the fake tattoo shops. And so I knew it was possible to have an in with that. So I went to beauty school, worked in salons for a few years, and then, wiggled my way into the film business.
Now I'm going to throw out a name, and I'm going to see what comes to your mind.
I'm going to try and catch it.
Joffrey Ballet.
Joffrey Ballet. One of my favorite experiences working ever was with the Joffrey Ballet. I got called while I was working in Chicago to go help out for the Nutcracker at Christmas time, because, in Chicago down there, the Joffrey Ballet will do the Nutcracker every Christmas. And then every other Christmas, they kept asking me back to put the little rosy things on the people's cheeks and put up the little buns in the girls' hair. And it was so fun. And then occasionally they'd be like, oh, we're going to do Frankie and Johnny. Can you come and just do these quick change wigs for us and stuff? So I got to watch these magical people do their dance. And it's just something that's ingrained in my mind, because it's a talent, of course, I don't have, but I respect so much. And I'm just grateful that I get to participate in it somehow.
Right, right.
Even if I'm just putting a hairpin in someone's hair.
Well, it shows that we all work together in this wonderful creative business, and everybody has their job. Because the actors couldn't do it without you. I mean, I guess they could walk out of their front door of their house and start performing a monologue, but
sure.
But professionally, this is how we all work together. And I could go back to some of the other people that you have worked with more than once. I mean, Robert Redford, I follow him actually on Facebook, and he has these posts, and I love him more every day when I read some of the stuff he writes. But I mean, you've worked also with Holly Hunter many times, and also Jim Carrey.
Yeah, both wonderful people. Holly is an amazing human. She is just like the two of us. Loving, open, kind, would bend over backwards, would take, the shirt off her back for you. And that's funny because Bob, Jim, and Holly, those three people are a lot alike. They all love music. They all love music, like more than other people I know, all three of them. And myself included too. I'm a huge music fan. So I always kind of wondered if that was anything, parts of our connections. But Holly is still a dear friend. We talk on the phone like once a month. She's a good human being. I watched her raise two twin boys, kindest, nicest, funniest. These last few seasons of Mr. Mayor, if you can ever catch Mr. Mayor, it's a very fun show to watch.
And how many you worked on? All the seasons of that? How many episodes have that been around?
Mr. Mayor only went 2 seasons, sadly.
Okay.
They canceled it for our third. But I blame, I don't blame anybody, but I don't feel NBC promoted it enough, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the best shows don't either get promoted or something like that, and then they, what happened to it? What happened?
Yeah, it's a shame, because those actors also loved each other and got along so well, and they just loved making comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. And when we used to be in the actual building of Performing Arts Studio West, which we're going back to very soon. Yay! After this wonderful. That's not the right description. After this experience of being indoors for over 2 years, we will be going back. But on the wall, there is a picture of Holly from one of her older series with one of our wonderful actors from Performing Arts. So we have worked with Holly. It's been years ago. But
Well, maybe next time because she lives in New York, so maybe next time she comes to Los Angeles, I can work something out where maybe, because I know she would love to. She would love to come and say hello or something, even just for a moment. Yeah.
that'd be great. Maybe the two of you could just come, you get out, going out for have lunch with us.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Because Holly actually is deaf in one ear.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She had polio as a child, so she actually wears hearing aids. Yeah, she can't hear out of one ear pretty much. I have to remember which ear to talk in.
Wow. That really shows because I know Charlene Tilton has.
Oh,
I think
didn't
she's
know that.
partially deaf.
Yeah.
And so she, you find out by talking to people. I mean, we all have something that is a part of us
That could hinder us, but does not.
Exactly, because we move forward and we live our life to the fullest and the joy. And I'm looking at the joy behind your shoulder right now. I keep on saying that.
Stevie Wonder.
My favorite singer.
Love Stevie Wonder.
My top two favorite singers of all time. Why do you have that beautiful face on your wall?
Because I love Stevie Wonder. Because he's amazing. His songs are beautiful. He is a lover. And I just like his songs make me happy. Yep, that's right. Little Stevie playing the harmonica. I love him.
Oh my gosh. Have you worked with him? Have you?
No, but I did get to see him in concert maybe about 6 years ago. And he was on stage for 4 hours straight.
Oh my God. I had the same experience.
In Seattle, Washington, I went up and watched it and it was amazing. December 2nd or 3rd or something a couple years ago. Yeah, it was a wonderful show. 4 hours.
Hours.
He's blind. I don't know how he got really amazing.
I have, that is so fascinating. You said that because this was years even before I moved to LA, say 30 years ago. And it was in Oakland at the Paramount Theater. And the other day, somebody posted your favorite concert. Boom. And I said, Stevie Wonder at the Paramount because he played for 4 hours. And we were on our feet for 3 of them.
Yeah. Didn't stop. It was great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So getting back to your work, you look on IMDb and you see all these different credits. You see key hairstylist. You see hair department stylist, hair stylist for a lead, hair supervisor. What is the different levels of jobs and et cetera, et cetera?
Or specifically for hair and makeup people, your lead person would be your department head hairstylist, department head makeup. They're the ones that would oversee everything, do all the talking with the directors usually or producers to see what kind of look they're going for with the actors with the movie. And then you have your key hairstylist, or key makeup artist would be the right-hand man to your department head. They're the one that is there to pick up any slack, do all the ordering, do the phone calls to hire help. And we all should be looking at the schedule so we know what's happening. And then you just have hairstylists. I don't want to say just, but they are people that come in and assist and do other actors if we have too many, or do the background people if we need them. I worked on the Steven Spielberg film Lincoln. Oh. And on Lincoln, we had one major department head for hair and makeup for the whole thing. And she was Steven Spielberg. She's been with him for years. Yeah. And then we had our hair department, and we had 6 full-time hairstylists. And then for a few days, they built a big tent. They put up 60 hair and makeup stations. So we had 60 hair and makeup people just doing background on Lincoln, while then you've got the other 12 of us, half hair, half makeup doing the other actors, but you had all the soldiers, you had people in Congress, and that was all set in 1886, 5-4, somewhere around there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the biggest grouping of hair and makeup people I've ever seen.
That's amazing. And it makes you think, okay, this goes into a movie. This is why, sometimes you hear movies cost so much money, because where we have so many people working it to create this magic.
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually even had to, we prepped before we even shot for a month, we were in Virginia and we were prepping things. People would come in, they would try on their costumes. We'd sit them in our chair. We'd try on different wigs on them. We'd say, grow out your sideburns, don't cut your hair or whatever. So even full months beforehand, there's prep, even with just the background people to get them to look proper for a period piece.
Right.
A lot of work.
Yeah. Now, somebody asked me this question, or this question was asked about, I know we know you do hair, but do you do hair and makeup? People think they go together necessarily, but
in some aspects, they do go together. If somebody wants to work a little bit more in the commercial vein of things, commercials, because they're shorter shoots, maybe 2-3 days, sometimes they're a week or so. They want one person that can take care of all the people. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 people. So they want somebody that can do hair and makeup, which is fine and legal. And that's how commercials get by. When it comes to film and television, especially union film and television here, you have to choose one or the other. You have to choose to either be a makeup artist or a hairstylist, which I think is smart because then you're honing that one craft. Exactly. You're not just, I feel like knowing both is a good thing, but I couldn't put makeup on someone's face. Like I could, but I've tried to cover up a zit on somebody and on screen. It's like, what did I do? I don't know. So I stick with hair.
Right. Well, and not just with the hair on people's head, but you're a master at wigs.
Wigs. Yeah. Wigs are fun.
Tell a little about wig. How did that manifest?
My father, when I first started getting in the business, he's like, you're going to have to do this, and you're going to have to get good at wigs. And I'm like, wigs. I freaked out, of course. But the more you do things, the easier it gets. Wigs are so fun. It's so easy to change somebody's look so quickly. Like men can grow out sideburns or grow a mustache or a beard or just even, different facial hairs, and women can't have that so much. So I think variety with wigs is really fun. I don't know if any of you guys watched any of Stranger Things, but I was watching that show and the lead girl, Millie Bobby Brown, has a really short buzzed haircut. And I watched that whole show and I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was a wig the whole time. So much that I got online yesterday, is Billy Bobby Brown wearing a wig? And she was. And there was a video to show how they did it. And I learned things yesterday, but they did a really incredible job. That buzz haircut, there's a buzz wig on her and it's this long all the way around. If you get a chance to look, it's some amazing wig work right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've got to rewatch some of that. I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet, but I've got to.
Yeah.
Now, I saw lace wig work. What is lace wig work?
Let's think. How can I say a clown wig? If you take a clown wig that's like the kind of curly, and you put it on, it's got a hard front to it. It's just a hard front right there. Now, like example for Jerry Jewell.
Right.
What we did with Jerry is this nice woman who is a wig maker came over. She measured Jerry's head. We did a whole thing where we plaster her hair down and then we wrap it in saran wrap. And then we take a magic marker and we outline her hairline all the way around. We kind of put in where her swirls are and stuff. And then they take that piece of plastic saran wrap off her head and then they've got a form of Jerry's head. Then the wig maker puts it on a form and starts sewing hair into it. So that's the wig we made.
Surprises. We got surprises. Ooh.
This is Jerry's wig from the movie Deadwood, but it's not curled. As you know, David, we're working things out to get it to the Hollywood Museum.
Right.
But it's got like all those little pinnings right there. This is actually lace right there. And what we have to do is, what I would do is with Jerry is I pull all of her hair back, I pin it back on her head, and then we put that wig on top of her, and then there's this lace that lays right here. And then what I'll do is I'll take some glue,
Yeah.
like spirit gum kind of glue, and you lay it down. And what happens is the lace is kind of the same color as her skin. And the second you kind of push it down, you can't see it anymore. So then all this looks like a real hairline,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is Jerry's hairline. And this wig, Jerry's got a small head. She's got a very tiny little bean there. Like her hairline is shorter here. So this wig is actually really small. It's probably the smallest wig I've ever come across for a person because she's got a tiny little skull there.
Well, it's amazing because when you brought it out, I went, "Ooh, I don't recognize that wig," but it's fascinating because it's a straight hair, but you made it into this
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Let's see.
Should I have you share something?
Yes. Do you mean
Okay.
with words?
I'm gonna share. Okay, you could share there. Share a screen for you. Oh, okay. Look at that.
Like, that's what the wig looks like when it's styled.
Oh,
There's the back of it.
that's the wig.
Yeah. So this wig and that are the same thing.
Oh, that is cool.
Jerry looks so good in this little wig too.
Oh, she looks so good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God. So you have like a encyclopedia of wigs on your phone.
These are specific. Jerry's wig is going into the Hollywood Museum for Deadwood for everything. So I had all these pictures saved from Deadwood. I just re-put them on this phone so I could fix that wig. But it's surprising the muscle memory, because once I started to go and do it, it was like, oh, I remember this. I remember this. I remember this because I had done it so many times on her. It was just like, oh, easy.
Yeah, that was a blessing to be on that set and just watch you work, watch everybody, just to be there for Jerry. That was my job.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, the energy on that. How many, on Deadwood, let's jump to Deadwood again. How many people did you work? Did you work on everybody?
No, we had 3 full-time hairstylists there to do most of the crew. Now, none of the men wore wigs, but we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women in wigs. And we're talking wigs, and
Right.
it changes from scene to scene. Yeah. So there were definitely many days where we had other hair people in. A lot of times it was at least 4 of us to get the job done, because you put the wig on during the day and everything's fine. But what happens is you wrap at night, the wig has to come off, and then the wig has to be reset and ready to go for tomorrow morning's work. So when I finish at night, I still have at least an hour and a half work to do once I get the wig off someone's head.
Right. And
Just,
yeah, in a good place where it's safe.
That's right.
Yeah. So, again, you've worked in so many different pieces of TV shows, movies. What is one story from so many of these different, the work that you've done that you would say, oh, I got to tell you this story that happened on this set?
That's funny. That's a surprise question. Huh. But I will say there's a question when I'm on set that I ask friends, and it's, where are some of the most interesting places the film business has taken you?
Ooh.
Right? Because there's been some interesting places the film business has taken me. One, I worked on Herbie the Love Bug with Lindsay Lohan, and we got to be in the pits of a NASCAR race. We're talking a Herbie shirt, the ear cans, and it's a NASCAR race, and Herbie's there, like the crowds, people on bicycles, it's just like it was NASCAR. So the
smell of the car
and beer at 8 a.m. The other fun place that was really interesting and I would have never been to if I wasn't in the film business was, there was a movie in the 90s called The Relic. I don't recommend it. It's not any good. But The Relic, really?
I love horror films.
Well, me too. Um, the Relic brought me into this place. It was filmed in Chicago. So they take us to City Hall in Chicago. We get in an elevator and we go to the basement of City Hall, which is a good 8 stories down.
Yeah.
And then we go into another elevator that takes you another 10 stories down. So I'm 70 feet below the city of Chicago in a tunnel that when I do this, I'm touching the walls. And then some joker goes, hey, I'm going to turn the lights off. And he turns the lights off and you can't see anything.
Oh.
So some people couldn't handle it because if you think too much, you're like, I'm in a tunnel 70 feet below the earth. And it's the coal tunnels that they used to run through Chicago to get to different places. It's the tunnels Al Capone used to use to sneak around different places. So I got to be in some cool tunnels.
Oh my God.
Chicago.
You found a few missing people. Oh my God.
So that was fun. Yeah, Charlie's Angels actually brought me to, when I worked on Charlie's Angels, I basically did all of the second unit. I did all of the stunts. That was a lot of wig work also. In the second Charlie's Angels movies, you've got the girls doing all their motocross stuff. There's some motorcycle stuff in there. And when
that could be a lot of work, I would think, because if they do a stunt and they have to film it again, you got to get the hair back to the same.
Well, and also 98% of motocross people, when we filmed that, were men. The angels are women. So how do I make a motorcycle rider look like a woman? And the stunt coordinator would not let me put wigs on these guys, and he wouldn't let me put pins on their heads in case they got in an accident and the helmet had to come off. So I had to come up with an idea, how am I going to do this? So what I did is, because all 3 of the angels had a little hair coming out of somewhere in their helmet.
Yeah.
So I took Velcro and I Velcroed inside the helmet, and I just took a smattering of hair that matched Cameron Diaz and I cut it to look like it was hers. And I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go to work, I'd take my 3 little hair pieces and I would Velcro them inside all of the 3 helmets. And it's like, okay, now I sit around and watch these guys ride motorcycles all day until I got to take the hair out. But it brought me to Mexico. We went down to Mexico to shoot there because I was the extras. Just go with the stunt people. Just go with the stunt people. They brought me to Catalina Island for shots. Like it was, yeah, it's fun. It's hard work, but it's still rewarding and fun.
It's a journey. It's
a journey. Oof.
God, I have so many other questions. We're going to get to a few questions from the students. Of course, they sent in, and I see their hands raised. I do have several more though that I'm going to.
And I'll try and talk.
You do a lot. I mean, you worked with Ryan Gosling, Alfred Woodard, Chris Evans. And then now didn't you just do The Gray Man?
That movie's coming out this month. The Gray Man, yes. That movie brought me to Prague.
Oh, now you were Ryan and Alfred and Chris were in the movie, but you were the main stylist for Anna, correct?
Correct. Oh, I only did. And that's another aspect of the film business is you can be a personal, like just for one specific person. So I was Anna de Armas's personal on that. And most of the times when I did Mr. Carey, I was just doing Jim's hair. I wasn't doing anything else on the show. Certain personalities are so big that they kind of need to have their own focus and their own hair person and their own makeup person and their own costumer too.
What brings you the most joy in life?
What brings me the most joy in life? Serving other people. I love taking care of others. And I feel like that's why I'm in this business, because I like to take care of others. I like to watch actors do their thing. Movies, I am a cinephile. I love movies. I will watch them. I love them. The old ones, the new ones, it doesn't matter. So to be able to collaborate with an actor or with a human being that wants to perform and wants to put themselves out there to entertain the rest of us, there's something magical. Service. My life is service. I am here to serve my brothers and sisters. Again, like we need to take care of each other. So, and if this is the niche I found without having to, have the scholastics that other people are capable of. You know, I want to be an astronaut. Fun, but I can't do math.
Right. So, hey,
Yeah.
thank God you're doing hair.
Yeah, I'm right where I'm supposed to be.